You got the raise. You got the promotion. You are earning more than your parents ever did at your age, and somehow at the end of every month the number in your account looks almost identical to what it looked like 3 years ago. You are not bad with money. You are not undisciplined. You are not failing. You are trapped. And the trap was built specifically for the income level you're at right now. Before we get into this, if this video shows you something about how the system actually works that nobody ever said out loud, hit subscribe and leave a like. It takes 2 seconds and it tells me to keep going deeper. Now let's get into it. There are 8 levels of the salary trap. Each one is designed for a specific income bracket. Each one absorbs your earnings before they can become wealth. And most people spend their entire careers moving from one trap to the next, believing they are making progress because the number on the pay stub keeps going up. The number on the pay stub is not your wealth. It is the entrance fee to the next trap. This is what all 8 levels actually look like. Level 1. The survival trap. $0 to $30,000 a year. At this level, there is no trap to design. The math does it automatically. Income arrives and leaves before it can be held. Rent takes the largest share. Food takes what rent left. Transportation takes what food left. And at the end of the month, the account has enough to start again next month if nothing goes wrong. Nothing goes wrong until something does. A car repair. A medical bill. A week of missed shifts. One unexpected expense at this level does not create a setback. It creates a spiral. Because there is no buffer. There has never been a buffer. Building a buffer requires money left over, and money left over requires income above survival. And income above survival requires time and opportunity that the survival trap is specifically designed to consume. You work more hours to earn more money. More hours means less time for the education or skill development that would move you to the next income level. Less time for skill development means the income stays where it is. The income staying where it is means the hours stay where they are. This is not laziness. This is geometry. The shape of the trap prevents the escape the trap requires. The exit from level 1 is not discipline. It is one specific door. A skill that pays more. A credential that opens a different market. A single opportunity taken at the right moment. Most people who exit level 1 do it through one break, not through grinding harder inside the same walls. Level 2. The relief trap. $30,000 to $50,000 a year. Something shifts. The survival pressure lifts slightly, not completely, but enough to feel like relief. And relief is the most expensive feeling in personal finance. Because relief spends money. Not recklessly, not irresponsibly, just in all the ways that relief naturally spends money. A slightly better apartment because the old one was genuinely terrible and you have earned something better. A car payment because public transportation was costing you opportunities. Eating out more because you spent years eating whatever was cheapest and you deserve to enjoy food now. New clothes because your professional presentation was holding you back and you need to look the part. Every single one of these decisions is reasonable. Every single one of them is a trapdoor. Because the relief trap does not take your money through bad decisions. It takes your money through completely understandable ones. By the time you have upgraded your life to match your new income, there is nothing left to build with. You are earning $50,000 a year and saving less than someone earning $30,000 because at $30,000, survival forced a discipline that $50,000 quietly removed. The relief trap is the reason most people who get their first real raise end up with less in savings 12 months later than they had before the raise. The lifestyle expanded faster than the income. It always does unless someone actively prevents it. Level 3. The comfort trap. $50,000 to $80,000 a year. You are comfortable now, not wealthy, not financially free, but comfortable in the specific way that makes urgency difficult to manufacture. The bills get paid. There is money for experiences. The account does not cause daily anxiety. Life is genuinely better than it was, and that is exactly the problem. Urgency builds wealth. Comfort spends it slowly. At this income level, the expenses that accumulate are not luxuries. They are the ordinary costs of a comfortable life. A mortgage or rent in a neighborhood with good schools. 2 car payments because the city requires it. Subscriptions that make modern life functional. A social life because isolation is not a financial strategy. Children, if that is the path chosen, and children are the most expensive comfort of all, not because they are a mistake, but because they are a commitment that expands to fill every financial gap available. The comfort trap is also where lifestyle comparison becomes financially lethal. The people around you at this income level are making similar money and spending all of it visibly. The vacations appear on social media. The home renovations get mentioned at dinner. The new car sits in the driveway. Nobody talks about the debt financing all of it. The comparison is between your internal financial reality and everyone else's external financial performance. That comparison always makes you feel behind. And feeling behind at the comfort level produces spending, not saving. Most people spend a decade at level 3. Some spend their entire career here. The trap is specifically designed to feel like arrival. It is not arrival. It is the most comfortable cage in the system. Level 4. The lifestyle inflation trap. $80,000 to $120,000 a year. You have crossed into six figures or are approaching it. This is the income most people spend their 20s dreaming about. And it is the income level where the trap becomes almost invisible because the money is genuinely substantial and the spending that absorbs it feels genuinely earned. The house gets bigger because the family needs space and you can afford it. The car gets nicer because safety matters and you have worked hard enough to drive something reliable. The vacations become real vacations because life is short and experiences matter. The restaurants improve because you spend 40 hours a week working and dinner should be enjoyable. The wardrobe updates because your professional level now requires a certain presentation. Private school gets considered because the public school in the neighborhood you can afford is not what you want for your children. None of these are wrong. All of them together are the trap. Because each one is justified individually and collectively, they consume the entire income expansion. You earn $40,000 more than you did 3 years ago, and you have $40,000 more in annual expenses. The wealth gap between you and financial freedom has not closed. It is held perfectly still while your standard of living rose around it. This is lifestyle inflation, not a character flaw, not irresponsibility. A system response to income growth that is so natural and so universal that fighting it requires deliberate and sustained effort that almost nobody applies because almost nobody recognizes it as a fight. The Level 4 trap is the one most personal finance content is actually about. It just never says so directly because acknowledging that earning six figures can still leave you broke is uncomfortable for an industry built on the premise that income solves everything. Level 5. The Golden Handcuffs Trap. $120,000 to $200,000 a year. The income is genuinely high now. High enough that walking away from it feels impossible. High enough that the lifestyle built on it cannot be maintained on anything less. High enough that every financial decision gets made with the assumption that this income will continue indefinitely because the alternative is too frightening to plan for. The Golden Handcuffs Trap works like this. You earn enough to live exceptionally well. Living exceptionally well requires the income to continue. Requiring the income to continue means you cannot take risks that might interrupt it. Cannot leave the job that is making you miserable. Cannot start the business that might fail. Cannot take the lower-paying role that would teach you something transformative. Cannot do anything that threatens the income stream because the income stream is now the structural support of an entire life that cannot stand without it. The mortgage on the house this income justified. The private school tuition this income makes possible. The car leases this income comfortably covers. The retirement contributions that are finally happening but would stop immediately if the income stopped. All of it resting on a single income source that you are now psychologically and financially incapable of questioning. You are earning more than 95% of people in the country. And you are less free than you were at 30,000. Not less comfortable. Less free. The trap at level 5 is not poverty. It is the prison built from prosperity. Golden handcuffs feel like success from the outside. From the inside, they feel like a very comfortable inability to leave. Level 6. The tax trap. $200,000 to $400,000 a year. At this income level, something new enters the picture. The government becomes your largest expense. Not your mortgage, not your lifestyle, The government. Federal, state, and local taxes combined can take 40 to 50% of every dollar earned above certain thresholds. You earn $300,000 and keep somewhere between $150,000 and $180,000 after taxes depending on where you live. The tax trap works by making high earners feel wealthy on gross income and shocked on net income. The number on the offer letter says $300,000. The number that arrives in the account says $14,000 a month. The lifestyle has been built for $300,000. It must now be maintained on $168,000, which requires that most of the gross income is immediately spoken for before any discretionary decision can be made. The trap compounds because the solutions to the tax problem require wealth to implement. Tax-advantaged retirement accounts help but have annual limits. Real estate investment helps but requires capital. Business ownership helps but requires risk. The people who escape the tax trap do so by becoming investors and owners, not employees. But becoming an investor or owner requires the kind of financial flexibility that the tax trap is specifically designed to prevent. Level 6 is where most high-earning professionals discover that income and wealth are not the same thing. A surgeon earning $350,000 a year and a trust fund heir with $5 million invested can have identical net worths after 10 years because the surgeon spent every dollar of a high income and the heir spent 4% of a growing asset base. Income without assets is a treadmill at any speed. Level 7. The complexity trap. $400,000 and above. The income at this level is genuinely life-changing, and the complexity required to manage it is genuinely life-consuming. Tax strategy alone becomes a part-time job. Entity structures, S-corporations, trusts, real estate holdings, investment accounts across multiple platforms, insurance products designed to minimize estate exposure, retirement vehicles beyond the standard options. All of it requiring professionals to manage, and professionals cost money, and the money spent on professionals is money not building wealth. The complexity trap works by replacing the simple question of how much am I saving with the complicated question of how am I structured. Structure is important, but structure without the fundamental behavior of spending less than you earn is just expensive architecture over an empty foundation. Many people at this income level have elaborate financial structures and negative net liquidity. The structure looks impressive. The actual position is fragile. There is also a specific psychological trap at level 7. The income is high enough that small financial decisions feel irrelevant. Why track a $100 expense when you earn $400,000 a year? Why negotiate a car price when the payment is a rounding error on the monthly income? Why shop insurance rates when the premium is negligible against the gross? These individually sensible reactions to high income collectively produce the same outcome as financial carelessness at any income level. The money goes somewhere. It just goes somewhere complicated enough that tracking it feels beneath the level. The exit from level 7 is not more income. It is the same discipline that exits every other level. Spending less than you earn. Investing the difference. Repeating without exception regardless of what the gross income says on paper. Level 8. The identity trap. Any income, every level. The 8th trap is not about a specific income bracket. It is the trap that runs underneath all 7 others and makes every one of them harder to escape. The identity trap works like this. At every income level, the spending is not just consumption. It is communication. The apartment communicates who you are. The car communicates where you have arrived. The neighborhood communicates what kind of person you are becoming. The restaurant communicates your taste. The vacation communicates your priorities. The clothes communicate your professional standing. All of it spending not just money but identity. And identity is the most expensive thing a person can purchase because it requires constant renewal. You cannot simply stop spending on identity. Because in a world where identity is communicated through consumption stopping, the consumption feels like disappearing. Feels like going backward. Feels like admitting that the arrival everyone around you believed in was not real. So the spending continues not because of weakness, but because the alternative feels like a kind of social death that most people are not willing to risk. The identity trap is why lottery winners go broke, why professional athletes retire poor, Why doctors earning $400,000 cannot retire at 65. The income was never the problem. The identity built on the income was always the problem, because the identity required the income to maintain it, and the income was never converted into assets that could replace it. The only exit from the identity trap is deciding that your net worth is more important than your net appearance. That is a decision, not a feeling, not an inspiration. A decision made deliberately and maintained under pressure from every direction the culture can apply. 8 levels. 8 traps. 1 system. The system is not malicious. It does not target you specifically. It is simply the natural result of a culture that teaches people to spend their income and call it living, while never teaching them to convert income into assets and call it wealth. The exit from every trap is the same. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference automatically. Increase the gap between income and spending every time income rises instead of letting lifestyle rise to meet it. Do this consistently for long enough, and the traps stop working because the system requires your participation to hold you. When you stop participating, the system loses its grip. It sounds simple because it is simple. Simple is not the same as easy, but it is available to anyone at any level who decides that the number in the account matters more than the story the spending tells. If this video showed you something about the system that changed how you see your own income, subscribe. Next week, we are going into exactly how Marcus escaped level 3 and what the first move looked like in real numbers. Not theory, the actual first move. See you there.